Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the start of a brand new long distance walk here in Norfolk, where I am about 3 kilometres into the Nar Valley Way, which begins at Kings Lynn. And earlier on I passed the beautiful Grade 1 listed Church of St Margaret, which is an old priory and is now the Minster. And also opposite that was the Grade 1 listed Guildhall, which dates to 1422. And then also in the town I just took a little detour to have a look at the gatehouse as well. There's a big gate which just forms part of the old town walls, and that of course is Grade 1 listed and dates to 1437. So there's plenty of other historic remains in Kings Lynn. It's a very historic town, including bits of a Dominican friary. There's a beautiful chapel on a mound, and also town walls as well. So it's a beautiful place to visit, although some areas are a little bit rough. But here I am at the River Nar. This is the river beside me. Downriver is that way towards Kings Lynn, and this trail is 34 miles long, which is about 54 kilometres. That you can obviously do in one long day if you wish, but I'm going to split this over 3 days, today being about 13 or 14 miles. I'm going to be ending at Narborough. So what I've done is I've parked the car at Narborough and got the bus here. It was only £2 and it runs every half an hour or so. It's really convenient. Just got to note that beyond there is almost no public transport links. So I'm going to have a car at the end, car at the beginning, and just do 2 other short sections. And it ends at the village of Gressenhall, which is probably 10 miles or so west of Norwich. And there is a little connection path as well called the Valley Way, I think, or something like that. The Waveney Way, sounds familiar. That connects this trail into the centre of Norwich, if you want to go all the way. But for now, I'm sticking to this riverbank path pretty much solid for the next 13 miles. So as you can hear and probably see, I have just crossed the A10, which is about 3 or so miles south of Kings Lynn, and I'm just over 9 kilometres into the walk. So for today, probably about 12 or so left, which is about 7.5-ish, 8 miles, something like that to go. And on the sign, well, actually signs have been really bad up until this point. One in Kings Lynn itself, which wasn't at the start, and then nothing, I don't think, until we got to the road about a mile behind me, which is pretty poor. But I think the rest of this walk is actually really well waymarked. So just back there on the sign it said Pentney Abbey, 4.5 miles. But actually there's another abbey just set back, or priory just set back from the river in about 1.5-2 miles time. So I'm definitely going to talk about that first. Hopefully I'll get to see it across the fields, and then just beyond that, another mile or two, will be Pentney Abbey. And at some point I'm going to try and find somewhere in the shade to try and have a bit of a rest and something to eat, because it is really warm today. Really warm. When we set off it was probably about 16 degrees, which is not bad at all. And now we're hitting probably low 20s, and it's just going to get warmer and warmer, but hopefully I think it might cloud over a bit later on. So we've just crossed the road here by High Bridge. That's this brick structure here, and the gently flowing waters of the River Nar heading towards Kings Lynn that way. And we're about 13 kilometres in here. And I've stopped to show the ruins of Blackborough Priory, which sit over here, just the other side of this little quarry. Now, that priory was founded about 1150, and by 1200 it was given over to Benedictine nuns, who remained there until the dissolution of the monasteries. And there is another priory about 2 or 3 kilometres further up, which I should get a better view of. So just across the field over there is Pentney Priory, which was founded in 1130. Now, the river actually formed the southern edge of the precinct, and during the medieval period this was actually turned into a canal to allow boat access to this monastic site. And this gatehouse over here is exquisitely preserved and is now a wedding venue. So we've just come across a little bit of a surprise here. This is Narborough Bone Mill, and it wasn't on the map or anything like that, but there's actually a little information board just here. And it says that this is the site of Narborough Bone Mill, which was built by the Marriott brothers, probably the same brothers that have named the Marriott's Way, which comes out of Norwich, in the 1830s. And bones from local slaughterhouses, whale bones from Kings Lynn, coprolites from West Durham, and human bones from Europe were brought here and ground down and used to fertilise, I guess, fields and stuff like that. It just says ground down for fertiliser. The mill closed in 1890 as it became uneconomical as there was a fall in demand for phosphate fertiliser. But really interestingly, it says here, as confirmation that human bones from Northern Europe were brought to the mill, a part of a human skull was found on the site, and they actually radiocarbon dated it to 1218, which obviously way predates this mill. So I wonder if they were digging up bodies in some part in Western Europe and then bringing them over. But it's really interesting. It's had a nice, I think, £92,000 grant to do a lot of repair works. There's a little National Lottery heritage thing there, which, yeah, look at this. It's pretty amazing. So we're now here at Narborough and the end of this part of the walk, and I'm actually here at the All Saints Church. This is a Grade 1 listed and dates to mainly the 13th and 14th century. It's a bit unusual because the tower is just slightly offset from the nave and chancel, you can see there. And also, just round the corner, there is a 12th century blocked doorway, so it's likely that there was an older church on the site, probably a Norman church, prior to this building being constructed. And if you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell to keep up to date with future uploads. And I will see you in part 2, where I'm going to be travelling from here, which is Narborough, all the way to Litcham.